Welcome back to Studio F on Fast Times Willy B. We'll be reviewing The Sixth Sense for its 25th anniversary. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell!
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got Rosie back for another 25th anniversary Wednesday. Rosie, how we doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
I've been enjoying these.
So today, we'll be reviewing M. Night Shyamalan's The Sixth Sense. His first real big movie. Mm-hmm. He had a few before this, but not very recognizable. So this was, the one that got him started.
Right.
When you talk about movies that made the man. Bruce Willis in this movie as Dr. Malcolm. You got Haley Joel Osment playing Cole Sears in a child role. You got young Toni Collette. Didn't realize that was her until about, halfway through this movie. She plays Lynn Sears, Cole's mom, obviously from Hereditary and Knives Out. But we'll start with the good. And the good is where just about everything in this movie is for me.
Yeah, definitely. Same here.
I'm going to preface this by saying I don't have a Matt or a bad.
All right.
So
I like it.
We're going to rock with the good section for a little while.
All right. I'm here for it.
Let's start with the opening.
Sure.
I mean, this was an opening that it's a hook. It gets you, dialed in.
Right.
Because, it's him and his wife. They're coming home after this award. It's setting the mood. Like, it's a big night for them.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, they walk into the bedroom and the glass is broken. And then one of his old patients is in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. Then the gun goes off. Twice, and Donnie Wahlberg playing the
You're
old
very
patient.
intrigued to see that.
But just an opening that you're locked in once it happens.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, buckle up, let's go.
My favorite, I really like didn't he fall slow-mo into the bed?
Yeah.
I kind of like that, add a little bit of more drama to it, I suppose. But I like it because it really ties in the entire movie.
Yeah.
And I remember telling you after that scene and it cuts to him watching Cole walk into the church, I was like, okay, this is either that was a flashback, a flash forward, and this is a flashback or something, and then it ended up not being the same, you know what I mean? I thought they had a connection, but obviously didn't, but I really loved that. Definitely got you hooked from the start. I like when a movie has a really dramatic start. Yeah. Because then you're interested to see where it goes from there.
For sure. This opening got you hooked. Really, the pacing of this movie kept you hooked the whole time. There was never any moment that felt like it was dragging. There was never any moment that felt like it was rushed. It was, I would say, a perfectly paced movie.
Yeah.
I think it's like a solid hour 45-ish.
I think so. It wasn't too bad.
The entire time I was locked in, I was dialed. I never wanted to pick up my phone. And, this is a movie that's been on my watch list for a while, and it's eluded me. And obviously, I knew that I was finally going to get to see it this month because I had this review. I had the M. Night Shyamalan draft with Corey, and Trap was coming out. So I was like, this is the perfect time to finally cross this one off the list.
Definitely.
I adored this film.
Yeah.
But the pacing was a big part in that, too.
Yeah.
It was a movie that... very high replay value, honestly. Even though you know the twist now.
Yeah.
Very high replay value.
Yeah. It was a good first-time watch for the both of us.
Yeah.
Probably has one of the most iconic scenes in cinematic history.
Yeah.
There towards the third act.
Yeah.
But, we've just never been around to watching it, I suppose, so...
It's funny because Corey was talking about how he's never seen it, but he was spoiled with the twist because of 50 First Dates. And I was like, I've seen 50 First Dates, and he explained the scene to me, and I was like, I guess it just never stuck in my brain. Like, it was never a memorable enough scene.
Yeah.
So it didn't register when we were watching this, but nonetheless, the acting was top-notch. I think this is one of my favorite performances from Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
The child performance from Haley Joel Osment, was incredible.
Definitely.
It might still be my favorite performance of his in his career, and he's now, upper 30s. And Toni Collette, this was my favorite performance of hers, too. I think she's great in Knives Out. not high on Hereditary, but I do enjoy her performance in it. But this was my favorite of hers. You know, you got your top 3 cast, and I think they all blew me away.
Yeah, it was a pretty... I'd say this about many of the movies I review on here, but this is a hard movie to... You have to be a stellar actor or actress.
A lot of face acting.
Yes,
especially in Haley Joel Osment. To see, you know, obviously this movie now 25 years old, but to see him do that as a kid, you're enthralled. Yeah.
In the seriousness of Bruce Willis's character, Dr. Malcolm, and everything,
everything he's dealing with.
Right.
A lot of emotion in this movie.
For sure.
You know, I love a good emotional pull. You know, you have Dr. Malcolm after the shooting. He's having trouble with his wife. You know, and then Cole Sears is struggling because he has the secret, and all the kids pick on him because of his secret, and he's a weirdo, a freak is what they call him. And then his mom's struggling because she just wants what's best for her son, but she also was left by his father. And there's just so much emotional pull, a lot of things at stake, and you feel it throughout the entire film.
I like how everyone also, speaking of that, everyone has like their own little story.
Yeah. There's the overarching story, but everyone has their own behind closed doors.
Yeah. And I like it because in some movies we see that, but some people's stories aren't depicted as well as others.
And sometimes we don't get an ending on some stories.
Yeah.
When you dive into the realm that everybody has their, you know, their character arc, some arcs don't get closed. All of the arcs and stories are closed for each character in this movie. Even the, you know, the more supporting characters like Bruce Willis's wife. I mean, the ending also closes the chapter on her.
Yeah.
You don't see her throughout the entire movie, but you feel her pain. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So it was really well done. It's my favorite movie from Shyamalan.
Yeah, it was great.
And that's saying a lot because I do love Signs and Split.
Right.
But this one even took the cake there. It has, you know, great cinematography. I love a lot of the shots that we get, you know, inside the church, inside the school, inside the apartment when Cole's with, you know, Dr. Malcolm, or when Cole's experiencing the ghosts. A lot of those shots are really well done.
Yeah.
I also love a lot of the outside shots. It almost has that fall vibe to it. They capture that really well. And it was just very well done. And it has this, like, shock scare factor to it that is very present and very good. And that's, you know, when it's whether it's a jump scare with one of the ghosts, you know, with like the lady with the cut wrists in the kitchen, or another one that stuck out to me is, let me show you my dad's gun, and when he turns around, the back of his head's missing. Obviously insinuating that his father had shot this kid in the back of the head, or the hanged people in the school after the play. Just all of these things are like, they catch you off guard, and you're like, oh my goodness, like, really well done.
Yeah, sometimes you forget that he is dealing with that, and then you see it and you're like, oh. And I like that they're not portrayed as ghosts, because Cole doesn't see them as ghosts.
Yeah.
He sees them as regular people dressed normally, and, you know, exactly how they were before. So I like that they didn't have, like, like ghosts are, like, they have, like, paler skin. Obviously their skin's pale because they're dead, but you know, they have, like, an aura around them, and it's kind of cold. That's another thing, the cold. I liked you could like see their breath. Because that was mentioned a few times in the movie, but I liked how they were depicted as normal people, because that's exactly how he saw them.
Yeah, you know, touching back on the pacing, it just feels like each chapter jumps into something that's, you know, more and more interesting. Like, this opening was great. You get the introduction between our two main characters and them having their first session in the church. And then it's them in the living room, and this is where you get the mind-reading game. And I loved the mind-reading game scene where, you know, if I read your mind, you take a step towards me. If I don't, you take a step back. Very good scene. It introduces Cole really well.
Yeah.
In a fun way with a therapist,
for sure.
Honestly. And more of a psychiatrist, I guess. But, you know, tomato. But I think that scene's just, it's really heavy and impactful. Then, you know, you got some scenes where they're on their own. You see the struggling marriage, this, that, him in school, struggling with the kids, and his teacher, and him answering the question. And that comes full circle when you see the hanged people, obviously, how he answered that question. But it really hits its stride too when you get the iconic scene where they're in the hospital and he goes, "I see dead people," and you got the response from Bruce Willis, and then it turns into a conversation, and he's he mentions all the time, always, and you get some really chill quotes from Haley Joel Osment too. That's cool. Sears, the one where he discovers the hanged people, and he's talking about like, do you ever feel the pricks in the back of your neck, or when your hair stands? Mm-hmm. That's them, and they're angry. Like, just scenes like that are like disturbing almost.
Yeah, for sure.
But
he has a very good voice.
Yeah.
I love children actors.
Yeah.
I've said it a trillion times on here with you. I just love the way that their dialect is very, because they, obviously they had to learn all these roles, especially him, because he is one of the main characters.
Yeah.
I just think like his slower voice and how he speaks is very kind of ominous.
Yeah. And, and then we start getting more ghost interactions, and this is where we start to see things get better, because Bruce Willis suggests, because he listens to old tapes from the patient that shot him, maybe they're looking for help from you. Mm-hmm. And so he helps the little girl. That's another little twist in itself, with the girl being poisoned by the mom, and you're like, holy shit. And then the big twist. I think this is, Shyamalan obviously very well known for his twists.
Yes.
Every movie he makes, it's gonna have it. It's gonna have a scene where you're like, oh shit. This is probably the best one.
Oh, yeah.
And I really wish I could have got our reactions on camera, because, we're watching, and I sit up and I go, oh my, he's fucking dead. And you literally sit up and go, there's no fucking way. And like, just the 2 back-to-back F-bombs, I was like, you could just tell there was pure shock.
Even the dog stood up.
Yeah, the dog stood up like they were watching. And it was just, I'm glad that I looked past this in 51st Dates, because it just added an extra layer to how much I love this movie.
For sure.
Connecting that Cole was helping him the whole time.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that scene where he does get home, and then that is the wow factor is finally laid down for us. Yeah. She's like, don't leave me, but like, we think she's asleep, and like, don't leave me doesn't mean he's dead. And then his ring, she's holding his wedding ring, and it falls off and rolls by his foot, and he looks at his hand and not on there anymore. Yeah. And you're like, oh my god. And I think that's when it both clicked for us.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's when you get the flashback to the night that it happened.
Yeah. Because we knew that he still had feelings for her.
Yeah.
Like, he still loved, obviously.
Yeah.
So, like, why would he take his wedding band off?
Another scene that sticks out after finding out the twist is the scene where she's in her place of work with the guy, and they're getting really close, and he breaks the glass on the door, and they don't see him. You think he escaped so quickly. They don't see him because he's not there.
Right.
And then you also gain a little more respect for her, because you realize she's not being unfaithful.
That's true.
So
I would kind of like to sit down and watch this one again.
Yeah.
Just to kind of see if there's any other little things where
you can pick up on him being dead before the twist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can't tell at all.
But it's a great closing to their story, because he talks to her while she's sleeping, like Cole suggested. Cole helping.
Right.
When you see the scene happen, you realize in the school that Cole knew. That Cole knew. He wasn't alive.
Yeah.
But and it's cool too, because when you really think back at it, you never see an interaction between Bruce Willis and his mom, Cole's mom. Like, so this whole time you're thinking that he's hired by her, but if you really think about it, they never have an interaction.
Not when they were sitting in the chairs in the living room?
I don't think so. I think she kept talking to him. And he would answer, and they would both take in the information.
Yeah. I guess I have to rewatch that scene again. But that is true.
Just all of it. Like, it all connects. It's really well done. Maybe I missed a hole there, but I don't want to find it. I like this movie a lot.
Right.
But then on the other side of things, closing the story for Cole and his mom, Lynn, that's another great scene where
Yeah.
he's in the car and, you know, he tells her his secret finally, and then you have the grandma connection. Like, she said, every day, what was the question you asked her? That's just a scene that, you know, the hair stand up.
Yeah.
The
Kind of made
pricks
me
in your
teary
neck.
eyed
You
a
feel
little
them.
bit.
Yeah, there's not a dry eye. Yeah, it's just one of those scenes, very emotionally heavy, and just a really good scene.
For sure.
And the shock factor's there too, because you get, like, she's standing outside my window and it cuts, and then there's just the dead biker standing outside his window.
Yeah.
Just all in all, like,
I like that she finally believed him.
yeah. This is his best movie.
Yeah.
Shyamalan's best movie.
There's definitely at least no plot holes that we've seen.
Yeah.
Or anything, but
Is there anything else that really stuck out to you in the good? It's all.
it's all so good, and I really think we, I think we got it all. Towards the end, I really liked that we got to go back to the beginning and see that he did end up
Passing
away from the bullet.
Good score. Gotta mention
sure.
that. Really good score.
Yeah, I'm just glad that did connect to give us like the final assurance that what we all thought was true was actually true.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah. So we'll hop to our final thoughts and ratings, since we both don't have any in the bad. What do you want to leave off with The Sixth Sense, and what do you give it out of 10?
I'm glad we finally got to watch it.
Yes.
You know, obviously, growing up with social media very present in our lives at our age, you kind of see that I see dead people kind of as a meme, sort of.
Yeah, that's the one scene I've seen before.
Yeah, for sure. But I've never
really
seen because like you don't know what he said.
Well, you see him experiencing the dead people before that line even comes up.
Yeah, exactly.
Still an iconic line, an iconic scene for sure.
Yeah. I'm glad, with that being said, that we have never stumbled upon a spoiler.
Which is crazy, because we both have seen 10 Things I Hate About You. 50 First Dates.
Yeah.
A ton. It's just one of those scenes that
we'll
I guess
have to go back and watch
I never really connected it.
We'll have to go back and watch it.
Because it's the movie that she watches every day, and she's like, I can't believe Bruce Willis was dead.
Oh.
And it's new to her every day. It's a surprise.
Right.
And to her dad and brother, it's like, yeah. But I never remembered that. It didn't.
Interesting.
I guess now that Corey said it, I remember the scene.
Yeah.
But when we were watching The Sixth Sense, it was never in my head. I was like, so it got me. It still got me.
Interesting. Yeah. I think I say this about every movie. I'd like to watch it again to kind of see.
It's very playable.
Yeah.
This is one we'll probably watch in Salem if you're down.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if there's any of those little hints we can get to see, see if he's dead here or there, or I don't know. But I really enjoyed it, and I'm gonna rate this one pretty high. A good movie is a good movie, a great movie is a great movie. There's no meh or bad, so what's wrong with giving it a 10 out of 10?
There you go. I'm in the same exact boat.
And that's rare for me, because I'm a really
that joins
tough
the ranks
critic.
of the Breakfast Club for you, huh?
Yeah, I think I only have
And Beetlejuice.
Yeah, and what a weird. I have a weird 10 out of 10 movies.
But they all kind of, Breakfast Club's the outlier. The rest of them kind of fit. They're paranormal.
Matilda's not.
She's
kind of spooky.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
But I'm in a 10 out of 10 as well. I'm glad we finally watched this. I can't wait to rewatch it. It's been my favorite 25th anniversary film so far. I probably would even put it above 10 Things I Hate About You, which is another 10 out of 10 for me, for 99. And yeah, like I said, I'm glad we finally got to this one. Went on a little bit of a Shyamalan marathon.
Yeah.
Honestly, I watched The Visit for the first time. I watched The Village for the first time. I had already seen Signs. That was when I watched at a very young age, and I've loved for a while. I watched the Unbreakable trilogy a few years ago. So getting to, I saw Old when it came out, etc. But getting to this movie, which has always been his most highly regarded, and for some reason has eluded me the longest, I'm very happy that I finally got to watch it.
For sure.
And I see the hype, and I'm a part of it now.
Definitely.
that'll do it for The Sixth Sense. Rosie, thanks for coming on.
Of course.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, please check out some of the other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. Check out The Sixth Sense for its 25th anniversary, because why the hell not? And we will talk to you all later. Peace.
Peace and love.